It was a simple advertisement for a circus show. Very simple. Just a picture of a man with the words, "The Amazing Man. Come see him live at the Lancaster County Circus this weekend." To a 10-year-old like you, this was the pinnacle of entertainment. Magic, jokes, spectacles the likes of which no one has seen before. Well, that's what the flyer said. You begged your parents to take you to see it. How could they say no to a face like that? But they did, and you were heartbroken. It was something about them not having the time or money, but that just didn't register with you. How could it? You had no concept of money back then. The whole week you juggled between rage and grief. Why couldn't you go to see the Amazing Man and all his tricks and secrets? It wasn't fair. But one of your friends was going to go. That was the tipping point. How could he get to go, but you can't? Your friend was smart about it, though. He came up with the idea that you could stay over at his place for a few hours, then his parents could take you along with them. They only had enough money for themselves, so you figured you'd just sneak in after telling his parents your mom and dad would meet you there. For the rest of the week, you could barely keep this plan a secret, but you managed. It was Friday, the first show of the weekend. Your plan was coming together. The excitement was killing you. You were ready to see elephants disappear and men and women risk their lives to swing high above the ground. It was going to be the experience of a lifetime. You'd get to brag to your friends on Monday about all the things you saw that they didn't. It was time. You got in the car, and you were nearly bursting out of your seat when they pulled up to the gates of the circus. The car stopped, and you flew out the door. Your friend's parents didn't seem too worried about your sudden rush. After all, you were meeting up with your parents. The tent had the most exciting words, written in shining gold and silver. The Amazing Man. You tried to rush right in, but a large man stopped you. "Hold on now. You can't just rush in there, kid. Gotta pay first." You asked him how much it cost. $10. Do you have that much? You said no. Well, I'm afraid I can't let you in here then. Defeat. You've forgotten all your excitement. You were going to sneak in. Of course. How could you forget? The show was going to start in 10 minutes, so you waited just around the corner, watching people pay up and go in and sign a clipboard. Then your friend and their parents walked up to the man, paid the money, signed, and went in. It was time. You walked around the perimeter of the tent, looking for a spot where you could crawl under it. You found one easily enough. You searched for your friend and sat down next to him. His parents asked where your mom and dad were. You said they didn't feel like watching it. They bought it. Lights dimmed. This was it. A man walked into the center of the room, a spotlight shining off his pure white suit. The crowd was silent, waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all here to see something amazing, correct? A few people whistled. Good, because that's exactly what you're going to get. He vanished. The spotlight shone into the air, and there he was, just floating. The crowd went wild. You were awestruck. From this point on, every trick he pulled was better than the last. Summoning an entire rhino, having it charge at him, only for him to disappear and rip open the rhino from within. It was a costume, but it looked like a real, full-sized animal. It even moved like one too. This blew your mind. From time to time, he would fly around the room while catching the other performers. He would seamlessly take an audience member and put them into the trapeze performance as if they trained their whole life to be there. The list could go on and on and on about all the things he did. But then the finale came, and you could tell this was going to be good. The Amazing Man was back in the center, all lights on him.
The audience here tonight has seen things that blur the line between fact and fiction. But for my final trick tonight, it will astonish even the most certified skeptic. Bear witness.
Your heart rate was through the roof. In one swift motion, he detached himself from his shadow, like the old Peter Pan movie. The audience nearly jumped out of their seats, cheering and whistling, whoops and deep breaths. All you could do is sit there with your mouth on the floor. The Amazing Man started to interact with his shadow. His shadow would fly around the room, juggle, dance, and mimic its creator. Then, the shadow landed back down by the Amazing Man.
My lovely audience, I have lied to you, and I am sorry. This was not my final trick.
He then pulled out a knife and stabbed the shadow in its chest. It reacted like a real person, squirming in pain. The audience was silent, not sure if this was just disturbing or maybe leading up to something incredible. He then picked up the lifeless shadow.
Tonight, you all get to be a part of the show. Every single one of you. Disappearance is a fun little thing, isn't it?
He then cast his shadow over the whole room. He looked over to your friend. He and the rest of the audience was moving in a blur, laughing, cheering, clapping, jumping up and down. But the Amazing Man just stood there. As you looked around, you saw everyone starting to become transparent, fading away, and soon enough, everyone was gone, even the Amazing Man. You sat there for a few seconds, unsure of what to do. You got up eventually and left the tent. You told the attendant what happened, everything. "Kid, there's no magic show here." He gave you a look like you were nuts. You stumbled on your words and pointed up towards the sign on the tent. All it read was large animal exhibit. You knew what was in there. You knew what you saw. You rushed into the tent expecting to see a medium-sized circus stadium. But all there was were tigers and lions. You walked back out. Not a word spoken. You made your way to your friend's car, but it was gone. In fact, almost all the cars were gone. With no other option, you called your mom to have her pick you up. While in the car, she asked you how you got to the circus. You admitted that your friend's parents took you. She had no idea who you were talking about. You insisted it was your friend's parents and asked her to take you to his house. She told you nobody lived there. Nobody has for years. You insisted. And when you arrived, you found his house was abandoned. In fact, most of the houses were abandoned. After a few years, the whole thing blew over, and you forgot about it. But you never went to the circus again. Some years later, after you moved away from home, you found a flyer. It read, "The Amazing Man. Come see him live at the Walkers County Fair this weekend." Those memories came flooding back. You looked on the back of the flyer. It showed a title that said, "His magic wouldn't have been possible without the support of the audience of his past performances." The list was 4 columns long. As you scanned the names, you caught a glimpse of 3 familiar ones: your friend and his parents.